What's up, people? In this video, we're gonna look at this dude right here, Possible Pat, or is Pat Pasquale Bracco. Started his, he's got his own YouTube channel. Yeah, okay, generally, like, little side note, I try to stay away from branded channels that have this many subscribers, right? Like, and what's the reason for that is because a lot of the time, my videos, sometimes I'll do a video about whatever, anything, doesn't even matter, it could be like literally anything. But if it's a brand that is this big, a lot of the time the video will get blocked and I won't actually be able to release it because they'll I don't know, YouTube's algorithm, something, like they can tell that like I've used footage from that video and they'll block it, so I won't be able to release it. So in general, if possible, if you want, like Gabby Hanna, for example, she's got like 6 million subscribers. That did not happen with her. But she's just like an individual, you know what I mean? She's not a brand in the same sense that bodybuilding.com is a brand. So just a little side note in case you guys want to suggest a video. Anyway, we will give this one a shot. Angelo Carrion told me to do this one. 605 pounds, Pat knew change was possible. Interesting. I mean, not really interesting, like obviously, but like, oh, interesting. Whoa, really? Okay, here we go.
Maybe 350. I was never even in a situation where I could weigh myself until I went to the hospital. I had to step on a scale that was embedded in the ground that, you know, kind of like a freight scale. I'm Pasquale Bracco, and I'm 31. As far back as I can remember, from 2nd grade, 3rd grade, the 5th grade, all the way to 12th grade, I was always the big kid. I was definitely the largest person in the school. And kids definitely pointed it out, you know, that was easy. And the first thing people would say was, hey, Fat Pat's here, or Fatty Patty, or Pat Steaks, whatever you could think of. That's normally how my nicknames went throughout school. I played football throughout high school, got offered a full scholarship. I did attend college, and I ended up blowing my knee out, so I had to take some time off. And in that time, I ran into someone who owned a nightclub, and they offered me a job. I was maybe 6'6" at the time, 320 pounds. And in my opinion, they felt the bigger the better. Most of the people I surrounded myself with were other bodyguards, and we were all big. So being around people your size, you really don't notice how big you are. We were traveling. We spent most of our time on a tour bus or driving around the city, eating whatever we could. I actually remember going to McDonald's, and for a while, my meal was 100 chicken nuggets and large fry, apple pie, and a large high C. And I remember eating that multiple times a week. I didn't realize how big I was getting because...
Damn. Wow. 100 chicken nuggets. That's insane. Let me think. Dude, 6'6", 300 something pounds. It's like, that's very big. That's really big. 100 chicken nuggets, wow. Holy shit. I wonder if he was on anything. It's possible. I don't really know. He said he played college ball. It's a possibility. But still, 100 chicken nuggets is like mind-boggling. One thing that I think he said, that I thought he said was interesting, was that when you're around people who are also really big, you don't realize how big you are. And that is a concept that I think is worth examining in more detail, right? Because you can substitute the word big for anything. You can say poor or rich or ugly or good looking or short or, you know, like decide, like whatever adjective you want, you can put in there. And when I heard that, because he's talking about size and fitness and stuff like that. So when I heard that, I was like, damn, like that kind of makes me want to hang out with people who are I was thinking just now, like much bigger and much stronger than me. Because I would notice if I was hanging out with a bunch of dudes who are 6'6", 330 pounds, who like ate 100 chicken nuggets for one meal multiple times per week. I would notice that. It would like motivate me. I'd be like, I'd get my like little like, you know, like 20 chicken nugget meal. I would never eat chicken nuggets, it's disgusting, but like the equivalent of, and the dude next to me would be eating like 5 times as much, be like, damn, like probably gotta like train a little harder in the gym. I don't know, maybe we gotta lift a little heavier or something. Which you know, interestingly enough, like it kind of works both ways. Like right now I'm in Nha Trang, Vietnam, which is a beach town, and the gym that I go to here, I really like this gym for a few reasons. Number one, you don't have to wear shoes. Number two, you can work out with your shirt off. And number three, not currently, because like the last month I've been sick and I like haven't been working out, haven't been watching my diet. But last year when I was here, I was like arguably one of the people in the gym who was in the best shape, right? So like I felt like really kind of like cool in the gym, you know what I mean? Because like you work out with your shirt off, like you like go to like the bodybuilding section or whatever, and you like do a couple sets or whatever. You feel everybody's looking at you. You see like veins in your shoulders, and you're like, you know, your abs look better than everybody else's, and you're like just kind of like, you know, what was that? What was I? I'm like brushing off my shoulder, popping my collar. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, you feel good. And it's not very common. Like I'm trying to think if I've ever worked out. Actually, now that I think about it, the only gyms that I've worked out in where I've been like not in the best shape have either been in Australia. Australian people are all like in incredible shape somehow, or they've been gay gyms, right? Like occasionally I've joined or worked out in a gay gym. Like when I was in Tel Aviv, the gym that I would go to was the gay gym of like the neighborhood in Tel Aviv. All those guys are in amazing shape. I used to work as a trainer at Gold's Gym in West Hollywood. West Hollywood, as you may or may not know, is like home of all of the like, it's like where all the actors live, and lots of people who work in Hollywood are also gay, and West Hollywood just in and of itself has a massive gay population. So the Golds in West Hollywood is like, honestly, it was like maybe 80, 90% guys, and they were all like in amazing shape. So I'd like walk in there, and I was in good shape too, but like I would walk in there and I felt like the like ugly duckling, or like the fat guy basically. I wasn't fat, but like definitely wasn't as good a shape as these like gay guys. So also, what's the famous quote? It's like if you walk into a room and you're the smartest person in the room, then you're in the wrong room, or the richest person in the room, or whatever, right? I think that's important to note. Not what he was talking about at all, but anyway, just popped into my head when I watched that.
Because no one cared. You know, I was a bodyguard. You know, all they cared was, look how big my bodyguard is. He's huge. Don't mess with him. It was NBA Finals, and the celebrity placed a bet with me, a friendly bet. You know, loser does 50 push-ups, and I ended up losing. My team lost. I had to do push-ups, and I realized I hit the ground and tried to do one push-up, and I couldn't do it, and it was embarrassing. I was in a room in front of people, and the celebrity I was with was a comedian, so it didn't go well. Not only because people were, you know, laughing and joking around, but me personally feeling that as a man, I couldn't even lift my own body weight. How can I protect these people if I can't even help myself up? After the tour ended, I went to the doctors, and first I was told how much I weighed, and in about 10 years I didn't weigh myself. I had no idea. I thought maybe I was 400 pounds, 450, and it turns out that I was 605 pounds. It told me I was pre-diabetic, my blood pressure was sky high, that I immediately got put on medication. At the time, I think I was 27, and I could have possibly been on my deathbed. I immediately went home, and I ate. I ate for maybe a week or two because I was depressed, and that's what I turned to. I turned to food. I was an emotional eater. And then I remember one day, after eating, I decided to get in the shower, and everything that the doctor was saying just hit me as I looked in the mirror, and I decided right then that I was going to change. I walked to my kitchen. I threw out everything. Anything I had in my house at the time was bad, and took everything to the trash. And I decided
So one thing that, you know, I mentioned Tony Robbins frequently, semi-frequently in my videos, and that's because I have listened to his programs, probably all of them, at least like, I don't know, half dozen times each, right? Just because they're very good. Like I used to download a lot of torrents, right? And I used to listen to his programs when I would do cardio, or when I would be like on the way to work, or you know, whatever. I had lots of transit time, and I was always listening to like motivational stuff. And I really like Tony Robbins. I like the way that he communicates, and he has a lot of concepts that I think are very useful in everyday life, which is obviously a good thing in my mind. And one of the things he talks about, he tells a story. I don't know, you guys, if you've like also listened to a million of his like stuff, like things like I have, then you know this story. But he talks about how he got to interview President Gorbachev, right? This is like way back in the day, like the ex-prime minister or whatever, or leader of the USSR or whatever. And he got to interview him, right? So he like rents a private jet, you know, Gorbachev like agrees to like get on the plane with him, with like all his staff or whatever. And he's like giving him attitude the entire time, Gorbachev, right? Like doesn't want to be interviewed, doesn't like, not having any of it, right? And Tony's like, shit, man, I just paid like 30 grand for this jet, like to get this interview. You know, what am I doing? Like, am I actually going to waste this opportunity? So he starts talking to his wife, right? Gorbachev's wife. He starts like schmoozing the wife, like chatting her up a little bit, and like she's very, she's being nice, right? She's not a bitch, basically, is what he's saying. Anyway, chats up the wife a little bit, and then eventually the wife like kind of like, elbows him. It's like, talk to this guy, like talk to the American, So anyway, finally Gorbachev like starts talking to him, and Tony asks him a question, because in Tony Robbins's philosophy, like what does he do? He helps people change, is really what it is. Like you're stuck, you have a problem, you're procrastinating, something in your life you want to change, he helps you change like immediately, right? Which is why, I believe that change is not something that requires like years. Like this is why people in the like self-improvement world, or at least in the like, let's call it neuro-linguistic programming focused area of the self-improvement world, kind of look at therapy as a joke, right? It's because like it doesn't take you 3 years or 6 years of therapy to like change. That it's just you're spinning your wheels, right? If you want to change, you can change in an instant. For example, if I take a gun, I put it to your head, I say change right now, you're going to change. Unless you want to die, and then you'll just get your brains blown out, which is also a change, arguably. So anyway, what he talks about in a lot of his audio tapes is how whenever somebody changes, there's always one moment in time where they make the decision to change and actually change. That's like a common theme that he has. And when he works with people, or the stuff that he teaches, it all kind of is centered around pushing people towards that one moment in time where they make the decision to change. So, coming back to the Gorbachev story, he says that finally, like Gorbachev warmed up to him, and he said to him, he's like, Mr. Gorbachev, when you decided to like end the Cold War and like make peace with the U.S., when you were negotiating with Ronald Reagan or whatever, like, what was the one moment in time where you decided that it was time to end the Cold War? And like Gorbachev thinks for a second and like starts laughing, right? And he's like, you know what? I was talking to Ronald Reagan, right? We're arguing, we weren't getting anywhere. It was like a couple of days had passed. We're like going back and forth. And then he's like, and then Ronald Reagan looks at me and he says, you know what? This isn't working. Let's start over. And he like holds out his hand. He's like, hi, my name's Ron. Nice to meet you, right? Something like that, right? Like just basically introduces himself like a normal person. And Gorbachev kind of like cracked up. Like it broke his, like, in NLP they call it breaking a pattern, or hypnosis, I guess. It broke his pattern and like shook him out of his like hardcore like political negotiation. And he saw, and I think he even says in the tape, he's like, and when Ronald Reagan said that to me, I saw him not as a politician, but as just like a normal guy. And I was like, I can deal with this guy. He seems like a normal person. And then they negotiated, Cold War ended, blah, blah, blah. Everybody lived happily ever after. But the point of that story is that whenever I am exposed to a story of somebody changing, I always kind of will watch for whatever that point was. A lot of times people don't actually mention it explicitly. A lot of times people will just kind of gloss over it and say like, yeah, I was like this, and then I changed, right? And it's like, well, what was the exact moment? And if you dig a little bit deeper, you can always pretty much find that exact moment. Some people don't like to talk about it for obvious reasons, because this is extremely embarrassing, right? His stories where he's like, I was 600 pounds, I couldn't do a push-up. That's an embarrassing story. People making fun of me, right? But I believe that it is there if you dig for it.
If I wanted to eat, I would walk to get every meal. That was kind of how I would get my exercise too. Every morning I would wake up, I would walk to Walmart. It was about 1.5 miles away. I would get my breakfast, walk back, eat. When it was time to eat again, I would walk to the store. Next thing I know, I'm walking maybe 6-9 miles a day just to eat. But I was also eating clean. After 60 days, I lost 100 pounds. I go back to a different doctor this time, and it told me I was 53% body fat after losing 100 pounds, so I was still half my body was still fat. At first I was sad, but then it just motivated me. So I decided to go to the gym. A lot of times we have to find things that work for us, whether it's diet, workouts, the time of day you're doing it. That's what I focus on. I focus on what I can do, when I can do it, what I can eat. And it worked. I just never gave up, and I became addicted to finding results, reaching my goals. And I finally accomplished it. I finally lost almost every pound of fat that I had. I ended up losing more weight than I actually weigh. My body fat percentage was maybe 9%, 6'8", 273 pounds. And I was just amazed.
Yeah, so they didn't really show like a very good picture there, but it does look like he has a little bit of loose skin. You can't really see it from this just because of the glare, but like a little bit of loose skin there. But like whatever, dude. Like honestly, like if your choices are like 9% body fat with a little bit of loose skin, or like 600 pounds, like it's not a hard choice to make. But yeah, it's anybody can do it. Anybody can really do anything. It's just are you gonna do it? Are you gonna put in the work? Are you gonna try? Most people don't try, which is why they get stuck. Is because they're afraid of trying. We've all got areas like that in our life. I've got one, that I think about all the time, every single day. Right? I wake up in the morning and I'm like, today's the day I'm gonna start. I actually have kind of started. Like, well, I talk about this pickup stuff all the time, but like lately I've been saying to myself, okay, I'm gonna get 1% better a day. And so like last week I started I was like, all right, I'm just like, as I pass people in the street, as I pass a girl in the street, I'm just gonna say hello or good evening or good afternoon, right? And I started doing that and I was like, oh, it's easy, right? And then the next 1% was like, okay, pass somebody in the street, say hello, how are you? Or you say like hello, and they're like, obviously people are like, who the fuck are you? Like, why are you talking to me? And then like when you have their attention, you say, how are you? Right? That's 1% better, right? So like his would be like, number one, throw out all your unhealthy food, which in my opinion, that's a lot more than 1%. But like, if you weigh 9 billion pounds, like, okay, like you're gonna make a lot of progress in the beginning. And the next thing, like walk to Walmart, right, to get your food. So you're walking, he said like 6 to 9 miles a day, if I recall correctly, but at least like 2 or 3 to get the food. That's a lot. For a 600-pound guy to walk that much, that's a lot. That's hard. That's like, imagine, like right now, let's say I weigh like 180. It's like me wearing a 300-pound suit. I can't even, I don't think I've ever even held 300 pounds, right? Unless I deadlifted it. Like I've deadlifted a little bit over 300 pounds a few times. And like, if you ask me to walk with that to fucking Walmart for a mile, I could not do it. I actually could not do it. I doubt I could walk 100 meters with that without like, and that's with taking like breaks every like 5 seconds. So yeah, that's not easy. God, I really hope this video doesn't get blocked. But anyway, like the step after that, like I was at the gym yesterday, right? And like, I was like chatting to the cashier or whatever. I signed up for a month membership, and standing next to me was a non-Asian girl, right? And like when you're in Asia, when you're in Vietnam, and like most of the people here are Asian, and you see like not necessarily a white person, but like a non-Asian person next to you, you generally like are more, I guess, open to starting conversation with them because you have more in common. It's like, she's probably a traveler, basically. I'm a traveler. So I was like, oh, hey, what's up? What's your name? Where are you from? Blah, blah, blah. Right? Totally opened her out of the blue. Started talking, talked to her for a little bit, got her Instagram, we're going to hang out later. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like 1% better every day. Just a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Now today, like, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. I want to do like a challenge, but I don't have my own place yet. So it's kind of tough. But I don't know. Is that an excuse? Maybe. They're supposed to have really, really good nightlife in the city. So like what I want to do eventually, I should just start now. But anyway, I want to do a 30-day sober and alone challenge. This has nothing to do with Impossible Pat. Like the dude lost weight, good for him. It's called 30 Days Sober and Alone, where you go out every night for 30 days, sober and alone, with the goal of like talking to people. You're supposed to like go to clubs, bars, like whatever, anywhere there's people. And it could be that it's because like I haven't really seen like past 11 p.m. in a while, or here at least. But like I haven't seen really that many young people. Like maybe only at the gym. Also like haven't been to the clubs yet. Anyway, whatever. Let's finish this video.
A lot of people don't understand that how bad obesity is. That it's killing us. It's killing people every day. And sometimes we lose track of that. We don't see the damage that we're doing to ourselves. And that's one of my main things that I want to do in life is show people that it's possible. Show people that nothing is impossible. No matter how far gone you are, no matter how much you weigh, if you can put on the weight, you can lose the weight. Go get it.
Yep, straight up. That's true. That's true. I mean, God, God, I wish I had something I cared about that much. Really, like tears coming down his face. I want to help people. I want to show people. Like, I really wish I had something I cared about that much. I just got to pick something, you know. Like, I was reading this book by Dan Pena. It's called Your First 100 Million. And the guy, he talks about dreams, right? He's like, if you don't have a dream, you're not going to achieve your dream because you don't even have a fucking dream in the first place. So, and I was like, shit, he's right. Like, I don't even have a dream. What's my dream? 1 million YouTube subscribers? That's not really a dream. I guess you could say that's a goal. But is that my dream that I want? Not really. It's a means to an end, you know? My dream would be, well, I don't know. To call that a dream is a bit extreme, in my opinion. I don't know. I need to pick something. But anyway, yeah, straight up, like, fat people out there who watch my videos, you know, it's not hard. Like, throw out your crap, eat healthy food, and start walking, you know? And then eventually go to the gym and do that for a year, and you'll be fine, right? Anyway, told me to do this. Angela Carry-On, I believe. Yeah. You guys got any more? Let me know. Peace.